Only 7 matches took place at WrestleMania 11. Some people call it one of the worst, or the worst, WrestleManias of all time. Actually, rewatching it, it wasn't so bad. There was a very severe lack of star power or interest towards any of the matches. Let's dive straight into it, shall we? With the main event, of course, was the worst match of the night. Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Lawrence Taylor, a football player. I'm not very familiar with him as I never ever watch American football. Rugby with helmets, I call it. Anyways, I get why they did it. They booked this as the main event to bring a lot more eyeballs onto WrestleMania 11. I don't think Diesel v Shawn Michaels was, drawing in a lot of viewers. So, yeah, I understand why they did it. And actually, Lawrence Taylor performed better than I think most of us thought he would. And looking back, it was like Bam Bam Bigelow was wrestling a broomstick, and it showed how good Bam Bam Bigelow is as a wrestler. But Lawrence Taylor sold quite well during the match, but I couldn't find anything in this match that would give it more than a 1 star. We should have, in an ideal world, never main evented a WrestleMania. The other 1 star match of the night was Lex Luger and the British Bulldog versus Eli and Jacob Blue. Very forgettable tag team. This was quite a sloppy affair, actually. In fact, this was very close to being underneath the Lawrence Taylor match. Not a great match. 1 star is all I can give it. Number 6 on my list was The Undertaker going 4-0. A man who's never lost at WrestleMania, according to Vince McMahon in this WrestleMania. Yeah, he went 4-0. Pretty decent match with King Kong Bundy. 2 stars I'd give it altogether. Didn't get much time, so it wouldn't have gotten 3 stars. But it was good to see the Undertaker back after being absent from WrestleMania 10. Yeah, it was a pretty decent match, I thought. Number 5 on my list. I'm actually going to check. I should have rehearsed this better. Number 4 on my list, sorry, forgive me. Botch Fest. Here we come. Bret Hart took on Bob Backlund in an I Quit match, or a special submission match. Roddy Piper was the guest referee for the 2nd time in a row during a Bret Hart WrestleMania match. Bret Hart and Bob Backlund made the most out of this match. I wasn't really feeling the whole submission theme. I'm not sure if a normal match would have worked better between these two. I think their Survivor Series match in 1994 had more drama to it, and the shock victory of Bob Backlund winning the WWF Championship. But this match didn't really get enough time to develop into anything more interesting than a 2-star match. Bret Hart picking up the victory, and even the finish, I wasn't convinced that Bob Backlund said I quit, but apparently he did. It must have been in a different language. The 3rd best match of the night was a tag team championship match, which saw the surprise return of Yokozuna teaming up with the Owen Hart, and they defeated the Smoking Guns. This was a fairly solid. There's not much wrong with this match. 3 stars. Didn't get enough time to get 4 stars, but it was a pretty solid match. Owen Hart to me was the MVP of 1994, and it was great to see him get his wee moment at WrestleMania, winning the tag team titles with Yokozuna, and they were actually one of the better tag teams. The 2nd best match of the night was the Hall of Famer, who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame, Double J Jeff Jarrett versus the 2014 Hall of Famer Razor Ramon. Pretty solid match here. the finish, they should have, went for a decent finish in this matchup, but that sort of, tainted this match a wee bit. But both guys worked pretty damn well in this match. So yeah, 3 stars from me. And the match of the night was Shawn Michaels versus Diesel. Shawn Michaels was the crowd favorite in this match, but they still went with the Diesel win here. It was also nice to see Psycho Sid back, his presence. Like I said in my WrestleMania 8 review, part 3 of that Mania 8 review was that Sid has main event presence, and it's always nice to see Sid, shouting and screaming and things. And Shawn, he put on a great show. He really pulled out a fantastic match out with Diesel, Kevin Nash. I actually think Bret Hart had better matches with Diesel, but Shawn did his best too, and it was a pretty decent affair. Sometimes you look at Shawn Michaels and you've got to suspend your disbelief. There's no way he could be the best ever wrestler. But, in matches like this one, he really proves why he is one of the best ever. 3 stars out of 5 from me. So there's no 4-star matches. There's nowhere near 5-star matches at WrestleMania 11. But you know what? It wasn't so bad as I thought it was going to be. I would say this is still the second worst WrestleMania I've watched so far, just underneath WrestleMania 2, which was a bit of a mess too. But I enjoyed it much better than WrestleMania 9. I was almost tapping out with WrestleMania 9. It was awful.